Hello, how are you? We're back in the Kia Rio, the manual car. And in terms of show and tell me's, what we've done so far is we've done the tyre ones separately, separate video. You can have that if you want it. We've done under the bonnet. And although I've actually gone and done the stuff and check the oil or whatever, you'd only have to tell what you do. You don't have to say what you do. So they're tell me questions. We've done the 7 show me's inside the car, the things you could be asked to do while at the wheel and moving. And again, that's a video and that shows you how to do it in this vehicle. What we've got left is the remaining tell me questions that are, if you like, based inside the car. So I have sent you a number of ways you can do this. You've had the Drive Johnson's manual in an electronic form, or maybe I've even put a paper book in your hand and it looks like this. Hold it still enough, you might even be able to read them. So there they are. If you want that booklet, let me know and I'll resend it to you. It comes from an app and it arrives by text. You've had it in a YouTube format from the DVSA. So they made a video and they used a different car, I think it was a Volkswagen. And they played a video on how to do show and tell me's on that one. And you could use that and it's really quite good, but it isn't this car specific, my car, and it isn't maybe your car specific. So there could be one or two things that's slightly different, but it's still good content. You've had a URL from me, a website address that says in WhatsApp, it says, this is the show and tell me questions, press here and the web page opens. So you've had that too. So you had a couple of ways to digest it and learn it. So let's do the remaining tell me questions inside the car. And again, I will try to bring them to life so that you can practically do them for the purposes of keeping your own car in good condition. So tell me how you check the brakes were working. So you would say that every time I set off and at slow speed, I would test the brakes. They should be firm, not soft, not spongy, not slack, words like that. And the car shouldn't pull to the side. Tell me how you'd find the tyre pressures. Well, we've covered that one and watch that video. If you can't find it, I'll resend it to you. Tell me how you check the tyres were in good condition and road legal. Again, that's in a different video. I'll resend that if you want. Tell me how you check the head restraint so it protects your head in the event of a crash. So that's part of your car setup, your cabin drill, your cockpit drill. But what you want to do, and I know it's quite dark, but there's a head restraint. You would say, I would set the head restraint so that the top of my head was level with the top of the head restraint. That's one way you could say it. I'd set the head restraint to my eyes, ears, the frame of my glasses was level with about the middle. That's another way of answering it. I would set the head restraint so the middle of my head was in the middle. Again, that's another good answer. The answer in the DVSA thing is really long-winded. It's about 5 sentences. You haven't got to say that much stuff. And learn that if you want to. If you gave any one of those answers that I just got you to think about, you'd be okay. So how would you check the headlights and tail lights worked? Well, remember we've turned the headlights on, and just a reminder, there's the switch. Turn it dump, dump, dump to the top. You get green jellyfish and green eyelashes. So I'd turn on the headlights, I'd walk around the car and I'd check that they worked. How would you check if there was a problem with your ABS? So you don't really know when driving a car that ABS has gone sideways, but if you relook at the dashboard in the top corner, over by the, say here's 2 dials, there's dial number 1. Up in the corner where roughly where the 4 is, if you can see it now, when I turn the keys in a sec, briefly a light's going to come on, hopefully you can read it, and then it's going to go off. And that's good news actually, because you never want warning lights on when you start the engine. So for the purposes of demonstration, here we go. Turn the key off, turn the key on, up there. Ooh, there we go, ABS. Let me do it one more time so you can see it. So off, on, ABS comes on, has a think about it, poof, the light goes off. That's what we want. So how do you check your ABS? How would you know if there's a problem with your ABS? Well, the warning light would come on and it wouldn't go off. Tell me how you check your directional indicators work. So quite a common answer to this. Well, I do the left indicator and then I do the right indicator. Well, you could do that, but there's a more efficient way. So your hazard warning button, which is this, oh, can we get some light on it? This triangle shape here. Let's try not to make it too dark. That one there. So you would give that a press. All the indicators flash at the same time, and then you'd walk around the car and you check that they all work. Typically speaking, most cars have 6 indicators, 2 at the back in the corner, 2 at the front in the corner, and 2 that are either hiding in the door mirror or on the front wing, if you like, the piece of metal where just over the wheels at the front. It kind of can be built in there as well. So I press the button and walk around. So your hazard warning button, you don't need the keys in to make that work, because if your car ever broke down, you'd press that button while it's parked up the side of the road and walk to the petrol station and get your petrol or whatever. So you don't need to leave the keys in the car to make that button work, which is why I might use that one. And it's just more efficient, really. How would you check the brake lights were working? And then they may phrase the question in one of 2 ways. So they could say, how will you check the brake lights work on this car? And then you'd say, well, what I'd do is I'd find a shiny surface, I'd reverse up to it like a garage door, parked car, the windows of my conservatory or whatever, and I'd press on the brake pedal and I'd watch the lights light up in the reflection, and therefore I know they work. Well, they might say, how would you check your brake lights work? I can help you if you want me to. And then you might say, okay, well, I'd send you round the back, and I'd press and you go, yeah, they're all working. So in most cars, certainly in modern cars of the last 25 years, you should have 3 brake lights. One over on the left where the indicators live, one over on the right where the indicators live, and one what's called high level, which is usually above the back window at the top part, or sometimes in the back window itself at the base, pointing backwards. How would you know if your power steering was defective, or how would you check your power steering was working? Then I'm going to run the engine to try and bring this to life, hopefully. So this is engine off. I know the keys are turned, but that's just batteries on. So if you look, I'm trying it, I cannot turn that wheel because the little electric assistance that should be happening isn't happening because the engine's off. So what I would do is, well, how you answer the question is, well, when the engine's on, the steering should be easy to turn. But if I found it hard to turn and the engine was on, that would point to a fault. And also there'd be a warning light that won't go off. So down here on the bottom row, there's 4 red lights. The very leftist one is a battery icon. See if I can show you it. That one there. So hopefully this will work. So I'll do the whole thing with the keys again and look for a little steering wheel that's got a red exclamation mark in it that comes on and goes off. Do you see it? In that bottom left hand corner there. That's it there. So that's the warning light. But then let's go engine on. So with the engine on, and I'll zoom out a bit so you can see it. Look, it's so easy, I can do it with one finger. So you would know, I guess the truth is you would know if your power steering was faulty because it would be super heavy to turn. Tell me how you would switch on the rear fog light in this car. So we're back to headlights again, in as much as fog lights need the headlights to be on first. So just a reminder, headlights live over here. 1 turn side light, 1 turn dipped headlight or low beam. 2 green icons in the middle, a green jellyfish and green eyelashes, if you want to think of it that way. Then we take this control here. There's a little up down button. So maybe I'll shoot it better through here and you might see it better. There you go. So you flick it down, and up here, if you can look for the change, you get a orangey icon that comes on and goes off. So how would you know? How would you check your rear? How would you get your rear fog light on? Well, when the headlights are on, I would press this button over here, and it would come on. The next part of the question they may ask you is, and when would you use your fog lights? You'd say, when my visibility becomes severely limited, and that would be, for example, 100 meters or less. And then when visibility returned, I'd turn it off. It feels like the obvious thing to say, oh, I would use it when it's foggy. Well, yeah, you would. But what about rain? What about if you're driving through the countryside and there's smoke from a field on fire or someone burning rubbish or something? That could be a reason to do it. You could have really bad rain and you can't see very well. Condensation, mist, things like that. So that's the fog light one. How would you change your headlight from dip beam or low beam to main beam or high beam? And how do you know it's on? So back to headlights again. So remember, all the way to the top. Back to, let's call it, hello, green jellyfish and side light. And when I move the arm forward, like so, you see the icon changes. I'll do it again. So we go from green jellyfish, if you want to call it that, to blue jellyfish. I guess that's an easy way to remember it. So that's high beam. That's putting your full beam on. That's you driving through the countryside at night or whatever. And then if you wanted to flash your headlights, you would pull the control towards you. And if you look at the dash, it only does it briefly. It's like one flash of your full beam, if you like. And then we've got under the bonnet, where is the oil? where is the brake fluid, where is the coolant. We've done all those in a separate video. So this is the Kia Rio done then. You now know all the show and tell me questions for this car. So what I might do is quiz you the next time I see you if you've taken the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful, let me know, and I will make an auto version for those that drive the auto car, albeit it's very similar, in some ways exactly the same. But some people get the reassurance of knowing exactly where something is and exactly how it works by having the exact thing that they're trying to use rather than imagining. So I will see you the next time you're in the car.